welcome. I'm so thrilled to have you here with us, Julie. Julie Lumgair, who's a luxury tier winemaker here in Napa and Sonoma, working with one of the famous producers here, Jay Moss, a consulting winemaker with many others, but also she's on a committee of the Unified Wines and Grapes Symposium, advisory board of the Innovation and Quality, and she's a chair of Napa and Sonoma Winemaking and Viticultural Roundtable of Women for the Wine Sense. So amazing winemaker, and we picked an topic for our discussion today that is a huge challenge for all the winemakers through California, but through Napa, Sonoma, Central Valley particularly. We're going to talk about challenges of 2020. And if you can see the window behind me, I'm here in Napa. The sky is orange. We are in the midst of the ash right now. And so let's jump in and talk about how that and many other challenges of 2020 are going to affect the vintage. So welcome, Julie.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate Napa Valley Wine Academy and you hosting me today for this discussion. As a longtime winemaker for 15 vintages plus in Sonoma County and Napa Valley, as well as Italy, I feel like we've seen a lot, and this is definitely an unprecedented harvest. I'm very happy to be a resource to all of the different students and study groups, and I look forward to this conversation.
Okay, great. So let's start with the very beginning of the cycle. We're discussing what were the challenges that influence how the 2020 vintage is going to be like. And in our previous conversation, you mentioned that we don't need to look only at the beginning of this cycle. We have to go back to the fires that were there before, even to Kincaid fire. So where is the beginning of what we feel today?
Well, putting the vintage 2020 in a frame, I guess let's start with two frameworks. As a grape grower and as a winemaker, we have to come at what is the goal for the winemaking and where are we making it? Because as we all know, great wines are made in the vineyard. When you and I spoke, the focus you wanted to talk about today was primarily the North Coast luxury tier and ultra premium wine market, Sonoma, Napa Valley. Even within that agricultural landscape, you're talking, well over 1 million acres of land, and a very small amount of cultivation of high-end wine grapes are nested all over, those acreages. So, for example, of all the grapes in California, Napa Valley's grapes would be 4% of the wine made in an average vintage. So we're going to definitely focus in on a piece of a piece, but it's the, kind of the preeminent world wine capital mentality and what we're struggling with in this vintage and how we will overcome it. When I look at how this started in the vineyards, in parts of northern Sonoma, we had what was called the Kincaid Fire during late October of last year, and that impacted the thinking for mainly Cabernet, Bordeaux varietals, certain key whites coming into this year if those vineyards had been affected by fire. And then the rest of the AVA, thankfully, was not touched by fires in vintage 2019. The life cycle of the vine, which informs our winemaking, is about the starting cycle of pruning, usually through bud break, flowering, fruit set, veraison, and then the harvest decisions. However, when you've had fire in a vineyard, you have to add a few steps on because you have to assess the damage. So just realize that the people who were impacted by the Kincaid fire did have to do a lot more work during the winter season, and that added to the further challenges of 2020 for a couple of key AVAs and the Sonoma overall envelope.